DK Metcalf is this football player who's just massive. The dude is a brick wall. And so it's kind of funny. The other night, my buddies and I were talking through how many hits could you take from DK Metcalf, and how much money would you have to be paid in order to take 100 hits from him. And then as well, another line of questioning was, out of 100, how many times do you think you could tackle him? And some of the guys were saying 50. I don't think I could even get one tackle on this guy. That's how strong this guy is. And it's funny because his diet consists of sugar. Strictly, like, of course he eats protein and carbs and all those different things, but like Skittles, candy, all the things that you're not supposed to eat as a pro athlete that's getting paid millions of dollars every single year, that's his diet. And so it's funny because you would think that someone who's playing at that level would be optimizing their life to be the best, but he doesn't really care. He's doing living his life as is, and it's working for him, right? Now, this brings in the concept of doing what's ideal versus what's just okay or acceptable, right? So you want to start by just doing something. He's playing football and he's just eating the diet that's worked for him. Maybe he doesn't really care to get 1% better. He's okay with the lower quality of playing. That's a slight decrease in what he could achieve more, whatever that is, because of the increase in his quality of life, okay? Start out by just doing something, but there's a certain point when you have to realize, what are the ideal things that I should be doing in my life to maximize my chances of success? How can I optimize my life to achieve success in this category that I'm interested in, right? So let's talk about this. If you're a sports player, what is the optimal food that you can intake? Your body needs protein. It is not a question that protein is a necessary macronutrient in your diet. So then if you want to take a step in the right direction, to have an optimal performance, you have to have the best diet, right? Sugar is bad for you because it's just suboptimal for you. So what are the suboptimal things in your life that are unhealthy, right? Unhealthy is just another word for saying suboptimal. Unhealthy is just something that works, but it doesn't work as best as it could. There are alternatives to this path that would work out better. So what are you doing in your life that's suboptimal? And how can you switch the things that you do on a day-to-day basis to be more optimal? Okay, so for example, what are things that are suboptimal? Listening to a podcast is a step in the right direction. But then if you don't write down any notes, it's a suboptimal way of consuming information. I talked about this a couple of videos ago, but the books that exist on your shelf are useless unless you read them. But it's also a waste of time to read a book without applying or extracting wisdom and applying it to your life. So the ultimate value, the optimal, healthy value of consuming a book is in processing it, digesting it, and applying it to your life. It's kind of funny how that works because it works the same way with protein, right? You eat protein, you digest it, and it is applied to your muscles, right? In the same way, in life, you need to find the optimal ways of doing things. And you'll realize that a lot of things you do on a day-to-day basis are suboptimal. What is another thing that's suboptimal? Driving an extra 30 minutes, 15 minutes and back to do something that you could do in tandem with another action. For example, on my day-to-day schedule, I have to drive 15 minutes away to this outdoor mall to go for a run because it's the only really long course that exists near me. It's a suboptimal way of doing things because I have to drive for 30 minutes to run, which I wish I could just leave my house and go for a run, right? It'd be so much better. Now, that's kind of a limiting factor in my schedule because I can't just leave. There's not a sidewalk outside my house. I have to go somewhere else. A suboptimal way of doing life, though, would be going out during the day to that local area where I go to run and then coming back home and going back out to go run. Instead, if I want to optimize that time, I only want to drive once, right? I want to stack together that time. So then I drive once to go meet a friend for lunch, and then I already have my shoes on so that I can leave from lunch and go for a run, or maybe whatever it is, coffee or just going for errands. I can go for a run and then as I'm driving back home, get groceries. I'm doing multiple things so I don't have to waste time driving. That's another way of living a suboptimal life. What are the ways in your life, Maybe another one is going to bed late. And oh my gosh, this is, I just realized this. Shining this light in my eyes is probably terrible for my sleep pattern. This is a suboptimal way of living life. But I guess that's one of the things I'm willing to accept because it's much easier to record these videos at the end of the day when the sun is down so that the only light that I have is from my phone. The house is quiet, the dogs are asleep, and so I'm able to record these videos, and it just works for me better, right? There's a balance. Life is all about balance, right? Same thing with sugar. If there's pro athletes eating sugar and still functioning at the top level, you're probably okay to not live 100% optimized like Brian Johnson, the guy who's, literally putting his life on the line for science. But you're okay not to live super optimized, but just understand that you want to start moving in the right direction as much as you can, so that at least you have the confidence that you're putting in the necessary requirement to achieve this massive vision that you have for your life. Ask yourself, what are the optimal things to do in my situation? How am I being unhealthy or suboptimal in my life currently? What would I have to do to change these patterns to be more optimal? How do I optimize my life to achieve success? It's a difficult pill to swallow, but it's a necessary one. So figure it out, apply it to your life, and you'll realize that you never even wanted the suboptimal diet in the first place, that the quality of life that exists living optimally is so much better, so much more rewarding than the cheap life of unhealthy, suboptimal, bad habits. And, well, I'll just leave it at that. Why don't us?